Hi guys, I'm going to show you in this webcast how to implement sorting and paging in your ISP.NET website, capitalizing on what's available in CodeFluent Entities. So, sorting and paging is fully supporting CodeFluent Entities, and it's an out-of-the-box feature. So what we need to do is get back on the model, and here you can see that I have a small entity named contact with two properties, first name and last name. And by adding the sortable attribute and setting it to true, I'll enable in all layers sorting on those two properties. So I am going to have I'm going to need to rebuild my application, since my stored procedure will change now that my stored procedure will implement sorting on those two columns, and the BOM producer will simply call the new stored procedure with the paging methods. So if you go and check our stored procedure in our contact admin database, primarily stored procedures, and if we go on our contact loadal method and look at its code, here you'll see that now you can see that now we have our for all the properties that are marked sortable, if you can sort by one or the other, and you can specify the direction by which they are sorted. So this is in the persistence layer, so that's very efficient, and it has great performance results. And in the BOM, if we get back to the BOM, you see that the BOM changed, and if I'm going to open the contact collection, you'll see that I have a loadal method as usual. And as usual, I also have a page loadal method, which takes as a parameter a page index, indicating from which page I should start, which chunk of page I should get back. And then you can see here as well that I have, it takes as a parameter a page option object, and this page option object has several properties, and among those properties there are the default page size and the order by arguments, which you can define in which direction and how to order your the collection returned. So now that we have those methods, and that it is implemented in the persistence layer, in your UI, all we have to do is in the data source, configure an object data source to use not the loadal method but the page loadal method, and to pass the correct page indices and page size, as well as the order by direction if you want a specific order by direction. So prior to this webcast, I already prepared one such a screen, and so it's implemented in my contact page list ISPX web page. So here, just like in the contact list or the manage list, we have two controls, a grid view as well as an object data source control here, and the object data source is mapped on the page loadal method, and more than that, it is configured to specify the page index as well as the page size. And so it provides the page index. By default, it will start on the first page, and each page size are 100, meaning that it will the website will load 100 items at a time. And I'm also using a specific control, which is the page options parameter, which is provided in the CodeFluent runtime, that allows me to set the default page size, the default value, the sort direction and the sort expression if I want to. So here I'm going to keep all those values by default, since by default the sorting direction is descending, meaning it will go from A to Z. And then I have a grid view here which consumes my data source named data source right there. And I have some few extra attributes that are configured here, such as allow paging, which is set to true, allow sorting, which is set to true as well, and more than that, you can see here that I have sort expression, because you remember that in my stored procedure I need to have a token so that my stored procedure knows by which column it should sort. So here in my sort expression I am defining the column by which it should sort. So we always add the entity name before the column in order to handle derivation and inheritance between several objects and several entities. So here, and more than that, well, it's basically the same as usual. We have header text and they are data bound to specific properties. So what I need to do is I need to build my BOM and my business object model. I'm going to build my website again that uses the new DLL, and there, instead of using the manage contact list, I'm going to use the contact page list. So here I'm using the contact page list.aspx. So it takes a little while to load because it's loading the new DLLs. And here, oh, I forgot to mention that so I'm loading 100 items from the database, but I configured my grid view to use pages of 4 items only, meaning that I could have 100 items in store in my object data source, but I will display them 4 by 4, which is exactly what I did here. And if you remember in my database I only have 7 lines, so I only have 2 pages starting from the first one, and if I click on number 2 here I get to the second page where I can see the 3 last records. More than that, so you can see that paging was done without any custom code, but sorting was also enabled, and if ever I click on a column name, like for example the first name, you can see that it was sorted by alphabetical order in the ascending direction. If I get on the second page, you can see that the sort is done on the entire collection and not only on a page, and all that is done very efficiently using the best practices and all that on the server side. And as usual, as you've seen, I haven't developed a single line of custom of code behind or any custom code. All that is either provided by the ASP.NET, well, the .NET framework, or CodeFluent Entities. So this is it for this webcast. I hope to see you soon, and we'll see in the next webcast how to localize resources in your ASP.NET website. Thank you very much.